Good morning, Stampers. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Laura Buechler of Inky Fingers Papercrafting, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Nanaimo, BC. And I'm so excited to be sharing my first video with my new camera mount that I got. It's called an Archon Remarkably Created setup, and I'm hopeful that it's going to improve the video quality, the focus, and so on. And I hope that you'll drop me a comment below and let me know what you think. It's already better from my perspective because I can see more of what I'm doing instead of having a camera right in my way. So that's fantastic. So today I'm going to show you how to make a twist and pop card. And what do I mean by a twist and pop card? That's what I mean by a twist and pop card. Is that not awesome? Here's one that I made a few years ago. This is the first one I made for Valentine's Day a few years ago. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm using some old Valentine's paper and the large letter framelits. And this is similar to the one that we're going to be making today using current products from the Occasions catalog. So these fancy fold cards are really impressive, they look amazing, and they're actually way less challenging to create than you might think. And once you get the hang of it, you'll be amazed how easy it is. So I'm going to walk you through it. Now we're not going to discuss how to do the front of the card today, we're just going to talk about how to make the mechanism that does that popping out. So just like the last fancy fold card that I showed you, you're only going to need pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You won't need any 12 by 12. And the finished card is going to fit inside an invitation size envelope. All right. So let me walk you through this process. Here's what you'll need. You'll need for your card base a piece of 4¼ by 11-inch cardstock, and then it's scored in the center at 5.5. That's your card base. You're also going to need a piece of white cardstock, and that is almost a whole sheet of 8.5 by 11. It's trimmed to 8.5 by 10�3/4. So you're just going to cut a little bit off of one side, and this is going to make the pop out mechanism, and I'll show you how to do that. And then the third piece of cardstock that you'll need is this piece for the pop out panel. This is the part that's going to open up like this when you open your card. And this is 11 inches long by 3 inches wide, okay? And you're going to score that paper at 2.75, 5.5, and 8.25. So you'll end up with 4 squares that are all the same size. So let me show you how to make this mechanism. And this is the most time-consuming part of the card, but I promise you it's not that hard. So what you're going to do is you're going to score this piece of paper, this piece of white cardstock, at 3 7/8, and 5 3/8, and 6 7/8. Okay? I'm giving you a moment to write down those measurements, and then I'm going to rotate the cardstock. And along the other side, you're going to score at 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. So as you can see, that's going to end up creating a whole grid of lines on your cardstock. And once you've done that, what you want to do is cut off the 4 corner rectangles. You're just going to trace along those grid lines that you've created and just cut those 4 corners right off. And then what you end up with is this. Okay, so you've cut off those 4 corners, those 4 white rectangles, and set those aside because those are perfect for stamping and creating what you want to put on your inside pop-out panel, which I'll show you in a few minutes, but definitely set those little rectangles aside. So now you have this cross piece, and you can see that it's got 2 thick arms and 2 thinner arms. So your next step is on the thinner arms, you're actually going to thin them out a little bit more with your scissors. And what I mean by that is just looking about 1/4 inch in and just cutting that in to remove a little bit of bulk, okay? So that's going to help when your mechanism is going to fold in on itself. To remove that bulk, it'll make it easier to fold. So you're going to do that in 4 places because you're going to do it on both sides of those thin arms. right, and one more. And you can see that doesn't need to be precise or perfect. We're just removing a little bit of the bulk to make it easier to fold, okay? So now we're ready to fold this, and you're going to need your bone folder for this step. So if you look closely, hopefully the light is good here so that you can see. We've got score lines going across here, and that's showing me where those score lines cross is showing me the exact center of this cardstock. So I'm going to hold my bone folder at that center point, and what I want is to line up the center score line of this left arm with the center score line of this bottom arm, okay? And I'm holding my bone folder there to show me where the center is so that I can make sure to cross that center with this fold line that I'm creating. Okay, so you can see we've created a diagonal score line, and if we've done it right, that new score line goes right through the center. Awesome. So now we're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to hold my bone folder there again, and what I want is to get the center score line of this arm to meet the center score line down here, okay? All right, that's looking good. And then I'm going to crease that. And now we've got a new X diagonal score lines, and they go right through the center, which is fantastic. So we're done with the bone folder for a moment. And now I'm going to fold along these other score lines just gently, just to give the paper a little hint of where it's going to start to fold. And now the easiest way that I have found to actually fold this mechanism into place is on these thin arms, the ones that you trimmed out a little bit. I'm going to start folding them together along that center score line, and see how as soon as I start to do that, it starts to pull the whole mechanism closed. So go ahead and let that happen, and as it folds together, it kind of creates this, I think it looks like a house. And use the bone folder to crease that. And then I look at it from the top, and it's actually turned out pretty well. Sometimes it'll end up with a bit of a bulk here, and so I just use the bone folder, again, just use the tip to kind of poke it into place and make sure that that's folded as nicely as it can be. So there's your mechanism, and you can see how once you attach that to your card base, which we're a few steps away from doing that, but once you do, you can see how it's going to open as the card opens. It almost looks like it's going to give you a hug. How cute is that? Okay, so one more step before we put this piece aside. I think I forgot to tell you about what designer series paper you're going to need for this. So you'll need a piece of designer series paper, which is cut to, let me see, 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So it's 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and then you'll also need 4 squares of designer series paper, and these are cut to 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches square. Okay, so for your mechanism, this piece of designer series paper is actually going to sit inside this mechanism, but obviously we need to cut this triangle point in it to make it fit properly, right? So the way that we do that is with your mechanism all folded up, lay it on top of your paper, and then with your pencil, trace it out, and then use your scissors to cut it. And I'm going to cut it a little bit smaller, meaning I'm cutting off a little bit more than what my pencil mark indicates. And that's because you want your piece of designer series paper to be smaller than your white cardstock mechanism. And you'll notice that this doesn't actually come to a point at the bottom, and that's totally okay, because this part is not going to be visible once you've added your popping out piece, right? You can't see the point of that designer series paper in the center at all. So don't worry about it. So that looks pretty good. You'll notice that it's going to leave a little bit of a border, a white border around the paper. And I'm actually going to trim a little bit more from my point part. Okay. So this beautiful Gingham Gala paper is available in the Occasions catalog, and I love that it's got 5 beautiful colors, and you can see you can either have these small squares or the big squares. Very pretty. So I'm going to use the small squares on this project today. All right. So again, leaving a little bit of a border. There we go. There's our mechanism. And now we'll work on the pop-out panel. So this is the piece that you've got. It's 3 inches by 11 inches, and you've scored it at 275, 5.5, and 825. And then you're going to decorate that however you'd like. So again, I'm using the Gingham Gala paper, these beautiful colors that it comes in, and I'm going to use, let's see, I used the small side on the top of the card, so I'm going to use the big side for these. Out a couple of butterflies already, and this paper, I should mention, it coordinates with Lemon Lime Twist, Grapefruit Grove, Balmy Blue, and Highland Heather. Also coordinates with Daffodil Delight, but I didn't use that ink color on this project. And I used the Butterfly Gala stamps, so solid color on these and then black on these 2 stamps here, and created these beautiful butterflies. And I've punched out a couple of them, and I'm going to punch out these other ones with this butterfly duet punch just to show you how easy that is. There we go. I love how many stamp set and punch bundles are available now from Stampin' Up. They make it so easy to create these beautiful coordinated projects. So that is the Butterfly Gala and the Butterfly Duet bundle. So now I've got these lovely butterflies, and let's see which one I want to put where. That actually works out pretty perfectly just like that, doesn't it? Okay, and I'm going to kind of make them look like they're flying. Okay, so now it's really important, I should mention, that we decorate this panel before we attach it to this mechanism, because once you attach it to here, it won't ever lie flat again, so it's really hard to attach anything to it. So make sure that you finish all your decorating first before you move on to the next step. So when you're ready, you've got this all beautifully decorated. What you want to do is fold it, I kind of say like you're folding it like a book. You're folding the outside panels towards one another so that you've just got this center score line visible. And you're going to line up that center score line with the center score line on your mechanism. And vertically, you're going to line it up with this score line here that showed where the top of the arms used to be. We trimmed them out, as you can remember in the first step. Okay, so once you've got that lined up, I'm going to use my pencil, and I'm going to trace here and then along the center score line, and same thing on the other side, along the center score line and then down. So these shaded areas at the top on one side and at the bottom on the other side, that's the only place where you're going to put adhesive, okay? All right, and again, put our mechanism back where we need it to be. Line up those score lines, and now we can unfold. Moment of truth as we fold this together. Look at that. Ta-da! So, how easy is that, hey? Now to attach it to your card base is again really simple. What you want to do is line up your center with the center score line of your card base, and it's going to leave a bit of a border. See how there's a bit of a border around that's going to show around the mechanism, and that's totally fine. And what you'll want to do is put the adhesive on the one side, go all around your mechanism to add the adhesive, and then close your card. Okay, and then again on the other side with your mechanism folded, apply your adhesive, close your card, and there it is. And it's totally fine that this pokes out the bottom a little bit. It will not prevent your card from standing, and it will still fit inside an envelope. So that's that. That's how you're going to make your card. Then you're going to decorate the front however that you would like it to be. Here's a reminder of what mine looks like. I made it a birthday card for a friend, or you can do a Valentine's Day card or any other card that you would like. So that's how you do a twist and pop card. Thank you so much for joining me and learning how to make that. Please drop me a comment below and let me know what you think. I really appreciate your comments because I'm stepping way out of my comfort zone to make these videos, so I love knowing that they're useful to you. And especially if there's something specific that you'd like to learn how to do, please let me know. And please remember, you can purchase all the products shown in this video on my website, inkyfingers.ca. And you'll also find more project tutorials, current promotional details and catalogs, my local workshop schedule, and the sign up for my monthly email newsletter. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, I want to let you know that I have a Facebook page under Inky Fingers Papercrafting, and there you can join a weekly card sketch challenge and win a prize from me, which is pretty fun. If you place an order today, please make sure to use the current Hostess code, which you can find on my website, because everyone who uses that code is going to get a free gift from me. And if you'd like to earn your own Hostess rewards, all you need to do is place an order over $200 or contact me and start planning your own virtual or in-home party. Drop me a line for more details. Have a great day, everyone, and happy stampin'. Bye.